In this digital age, everyone knows who MrBeast is. Known for his outrageous challenges and extreme works of charity, MrBeast has earned his spot as the #1 YouTuber personality in the world. But he didn't just come out of nowhere to gain the top spot, he had to earn it. In this video, we'll be going over the untold truth of how MrBeast rose to fame, covering every good and bad step that he had to make to get there. Stick around until the end to see the beauty behind MrBeast. Before the Beast. Before he was MrBeast, he was simply known as James Stephen Donaldson, or just plain Jimmy. Born on May 7, 1998, Jimmy never had a home for too long. His mother was in the military, which meant him and his brother needed to move from state to state, depending on where she was stationed. But this never really bothered him at the time because he was too preoccupied with one thing: Legos. Jimmy was the type of person that would obsess over something and wouldn't stop until he was satisfied. This was apparent from an early age, as told by his mother, who had to clean up after the huge Lego forts that he would make in his room. I guess creativity comes at the cost of cleanup. Thankfully for Jimmy's mother, he would move on to his next big obsession: baseball. At the age of 10, Jimmy was already obsessed with watching and playing baseball. Something about the sharp tink of the bat put a smile on his face like no other. But there was only one problem. All the moving around as a child made it so that Jimmy never developed his social skills, and having no social skills in a team game like baseball is enough to spell doom. So although he did love baseball, it wasn't long until he found a new obsession. Jimmy's new obsession would come in 2005 by the name of YouTube. YouTuber era. Although YouTube may be big now, not everyone made a hobby of watching random videos online. While some were obsessed with sports and video games, Jimmy was an outcast that enjoyed YouTube videos. In fact, the only other friend he had that liked YouTube was Chris. Chris was in high school when he met middle schooler Jimmy, and they bonded over a love of YouTube, a bond that lasts until this very day. Chris was the first person that Jimmy opened up to about wanting to be a YouTuber, and that passion and interest grew even more when he found out that you can make a living off of YouTube through the partner program. Now with a newfound determination and dream of making money off of YouTube, and so the wheels started turning. This was at the time when YouTube gaming was on the rise, so he did what any modern gamer would do and used the Xbox randomly generated username as his YouTube channel name. And thus, MrBeast 6000 was born.
You serious?
MrBeast 6000. At the time, Jimmy only ever really cared about one thing: subscribers. Video games were a means to an end, only doing it because it was an existing hobby that was popular on YouTube. He started doing shot commentaries and rants plastered over gameplay videos, which were a dime a dozen during the early days. At first it was opinions, but then he had the genius idea of tricking the algorithm to relate his channels to channels that were already successful. His first breakthrough series was about YouTubers and how much money they made through their videos. The first video was, of course, about PewDiePie, who was already massive at the time. Seeing its success, he continued writing and hypothesizing about other big YouTubers such as Smosh and Penguin Zero. This series was gaining more views than he had originally anticipated, which was a cause for celebration. But things would stop to a dead halt after a trip to the doctors. One door closes. Jimmy was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, a disease that caused the unusual inflammation of your digestive tract and affected your entire digestive system. Some of the symptoms that Jimmy felt included constant trips to the bathroom after meals, a loss in appetite, weight, energy, and of course the usual sharp stabs of pain that felt like a knife dragging its way through his intestines. The diagnosis devastated his family. Jimmy went from a healthy 180 pounds to just 139 pounds, and with his tall stature, he definitely was not looking good. But regardless of the disease, he still had to go to school and he still had to play baseball. Until that was taken away too. Baseball was Jimmy's road to the future, with plans of playing college baseball, but that was all thrown out the window when the pain became too much. Time away from baseball meant that he had more time to spend refining his YouTube videos. He was now doing YouTube full time, since recording videos was something he could do from the comfort of his own home. The only real hurdle that he had to pass was his own social awkwardness. It was hard, but it was easier when you're talking to a camera. Soon it wasn't all just video game commentaries on his channel. IRL videos started becoming more frequent. Though rare at the time, he clearly enjoyed it more than the copy-paste commentaries. His videos were random, dumb, and fun to watch. This approach earned him his first 1,000 subscribers in 2014, and that number only got higher, and the number just kept going. A massive success that he couldn't hide anymore. So he eventually told his mom, who was more than happy to celebrate with him. He still wasn't making money at the time, but he knew that he was on the right path. Soon, he started saving up money to invest into his own setup, which included a better mic, a better computer, editing skills, and of course, a better camera. The focus of his videos started leaning harder into skits, just friends messing around doing stupid stuff and having laughs. It wasn't the most eye-catching content, but he knew it would work if he just became consistent. And that he did. And it paid off handsomely. He finally earned his first $100. Things were getting really nice. That is, until reality set in. College ultimatum. There comes a time in every man's life where he has to set his foot down to follow what he loves. This wasn't that. Jimmy's mother wanted him to go to college, but Jimmy wanted to go all in on his YouTube career. He knew that there was something there for him, but his mother thought otherwise. They were at a crossroads, and so his mother set an ultimatum: go to college or leave the house. A hard choice for anyone, but Jimmy thought of a third option. Why? Don't try this at home, kids. Jimmy played hooky for an entire semester, going to college but cutting every class just so he could go out and film videos for YouTube. Of course, living a lie is never easy for anyone, but he made sure that lying was gonna be worth it. He was now going all in on YouTube content creation. Eventually, he was gaining enough money to actually move out of his mom's place and do his own thing. So of course he eventually had to confess, and his mom was furious with him, but not furious enough to stop him from chasing his dreams. Him and Chris moved in together to split the living expenses. With his newfound freedom, he went to work. The truth eventually set Jimmy free, and he now had more mental capacity to work on videos. His entire day was making videos that had interesting stunts and the usual funny moments. But what really drew people in was his out-of-the-box challenge videos. Video concepts so ridiculous that no one would ever think of wasting their time doing it. So instead, they waste time by watching him do it. This formula was working well and led to some of his biggest videos, such as counting to 100,000, reading the B-movie script, cutting a plastic table in half with plastic knives, and even reading through the entire dictionary. But then came the biggest milestone of his life, a brand deal. Quid would pay him $5,000 to put an ad on one of his videos. And what did he do? He asked for double. Now this may sound like the actions of a greedy narcissist, but that wasn't the case. That's because he was gonna give it all away in a video that would spark the fire that launched him into the stratosphere. The video was a simple shot of Jimmy handing the $10,000 over to a homeless person and capturing the sheer aura of happiness from the interaction. The video did amazing. The sponsors were happy, and best of all, Jimmy was happy. So happy, in fact, that he continued giving money away to strangers in need, using the money he earned from his previous videos. MrBeast would use this formula to continually provide wholesome and entertaining content, cracking the algorithm by just throwing everything he had at it. MrBeast's origin story is a tale of determination and passion, and something everyone with a dream could take a page out of.